Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Friday. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited. But we were thinking about going to the food truck tonight because they do a food truck here on Fridays, especially in the summer, but they've also been just kind of doing it all through COVID. And there's a Mexican food truck tonight. So even though I'm on Bright Line Eating, there's a lot of Mexican stuff that I can still get. But the bottom just fell out. It was like super sunny. I have all the windows open in here because, well, there's two windows and I had them open because it's nice and like bright and blue sky and everything else. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, that looks like a little bit of a dark cloud coming out. And then it just started raining, like pouring rain. And there's some big truck that keeps like going by. I don't know if they're like somebody's moving in and now they're looking for where to go. I don't know, but we either will still be going to the food truck or not, but I guess we'll see. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. I'm so excited to see you guys. Oh, Ashley, happy birthday. Let me move my mouse up here so I can pull some things over. Ashley, it's Ashley's birthday, you guys. Happy birthday to you. I'm so glad you came. So George's birthday is tomorrow. So that's pretty exciting. We are hopefully going to spend the day together as a family and have a good time together, hopefully. Just plans to hang out. I have a feeling we're going to be spending some time tomorrow watching some Marvel stuff. It's so hard to decide like what to do, how to make birthdays special other than just spending time together playing games or, like pampering each other. But it's like you can't really go out to restaurants very easily. And with the cases ramping up, it's like, do we really want to go out to a restaurant? I don't know. So it's just one of those kind of things of like, what do you do when you can't go out and do anything? Like normally maybe we try to get a babysitter and go out and do something like movie night together or date night, but it's like there's no date night in COVID-19 other than you put the kids to bed and you watch some anime at night. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. It's hard to know how to celebrate, so we will just make the most of it, I guess. I posted this on Instagram, but I got a new hat. This is a Tokidoki hat. I actually got several things from Tokidoki that are Hello Kitty stuff. I'm actually wearing these, but these are like little Tokidoki slippers. They're not Hello Kitty. They're just Tokidoki, like Donatella Sweet Shop. So I've been wearing those all week, but I also got blind boxes. So let me know in the comments if you ever get, like, if you like figurines or blind boxes, because I just kind of like to know. My sister is the one who kind of got me into picking up blind boxes every once in a while. Like when I used to go to Books A Million, I would always pick up like a blind box of a unicorno or something like that. But the problem is they get expensive pretty quickly. So I only treat myself to them every once in a while. And since I had some successful things with like my HB90 course and a new book launch, obviously, so blind boxes are like little boxes where it could be anything inside. Like there's 10 or 12 different items that you might get. It's like a surprise box. Yeah. So I don't know if I have the box, but this is one for Gudetama, which is Tokidoki, and Gudetama is a lazy egg. If you're not familiar with Gudetama, I think he's pretty funny, but Gudetama, I super love Gudetama. So he's the Sanrio character. So he's a Hello Kitty and Friends. Yeah, like a mystery box. So I guess everybody kind of calls him something different. So he's a Sanrio character. He's a friend of Hello Kitty. And I don't know if he's like a he or a she, because sometimes you'll see Gudetama with a bow. So I'm like, well, it's an egg. So maybe it's neither he nor she, and it's just an egg. So anyway, Gudetama Series 1. This is a Tokidoki collab, and I haven't opened this one yet. I've just been kind of holding on to it, but I did get a few things. So I treated myself to this like kaiju hat, which I thought was cute because I already have this little Hello Kitty kaiju which is like a Japanese monster, I think is what those are called. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. JD's on here. She knows Japanese stuff. So let me know if I'm saying that correct. But they do have, they also are coming out with, I just saw this the other night while browsing the internet, which is a dangerous thing to do at night when you've had a long day, is that they are coming out with Hello Kitty Kaiju, Funko Pops, which I don't always collect Funko Pops because I think you could just go down a huge rabbit hole and spend way too much money on them. And I don't have nearly enough space to like display that stuff. But when they have Hello Kitty ones, it's really hard to say no to them. So I saw there are some coming out. But yeah. So anyway, so, oh, did she say yes? I don't know. I can't. Oh, dang it. I don't know if I said it correctly. Well, we're going to pretend that I said it correctly. But I already had this little one, and this is from one of the mystery boxes. But I managed, when I got the mystery boxes for the Hello Kitty Tokidoki, I managed to get just one of everything without any real like repeats, except I didn't get the Hello Kitty with the cherry on her head, which I really want. But little known thing, if you ever, she said it's pretty close. Okay, close enough, I guess. I'll have to get you to say it for me or something. But I realized that a lot of times people that open the blind box, they're searching for what they call the chaser, which is the more like there's usually one rare item in there. And some people were saying that that if you go to eBay, so if you see all the ones that they have out there and you go to eBay, you can actually just buy the ones. So like those of you that say like, I prefer that you go and I prefer to know what's in the box, then instead of doing, instead of doing a blind box where you don't know what's in it, you could go to eBay and actually buy them for about the same price of the blind box. So I think I'm going to do that with the little Hello Kitty. The only one that's not true for, of course, is the chaser thing. But this was the last, I thought I would just show you guys for anybody that cares. This was the last of the Gudetama one that I opened. So I don't know the name of the, like all the Tokidoki characters. So I'm not sure the name of the little dog, but Gudetama is the little egg donut. I mean, how cute is that? I don't know why I love this so much, but I can't really show you, but I can show you an Instagram story. So I have some up here. You can see them back here. And this little Hello Kitty lives up there on that shelf. And then I have some on a shelf above my desk. And then I have some down here as well. So they kind of go with me whenever I go out writing. Back when we used to be able to actually leave the house safely, I would take like one or two of these and put them in my pen case, and they would just sit on my laptop. So this is writing related, right? So this is one that I got in the egg like this. And I'm hoping this will be something different. I'm going to open it in just a minute. Then Unicorno has like a new line that's called Gems. And I love these because, well, as you get deeper into the Shadow Demon saga, you will understand my love of gemstones, because gemstones play a huge role. You guys have already seen Sapphire, obviously, with Harper's necklace, but there are more gemstones to come in the series. But this one is the amethyst one, and it's so cute because they're transparent, and I just thought it was so pretty. So she's got kind of like My Little Pony. They have little cutie marks on their butt. So she just has like a little heart back there. And then the other one I got was the ruby one, which I thought this was perfect because I do actually have ruby and amethyst priestesses in my series, which is not obviously a spoiler because you don't know who those people are, but we will just say that. Oh my goodness, look at this, you guys. Wait, where'd the comment go? Hey Sarah, it's Rosalie from Australia. It's 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm finally watching a live stream. Rosalie, everybody, welcome Rosalie. Oh my goodness, thank you for showing up at 4 in the morning. We are so excited that you're here. Hey Sara Lee. So Sara Lee here actually has a YouTube channel, you guys, that she has just started here on YouTube. Sara Lee is a local writer that I met this past NaNoWriMo, and she is awesome. And she is writing actually has written a psychological thriller, which you guys know is one of my favorite genres of all time. So I will share her book release with you when it comes out later this year, hopefully. But she also has a YouTube channel here. So I think think if you click on her name, you should be able to subscribe to her if you want to check it out. She has a couple of really good videos out already and hopefully more to come. So yeah, this is the ruby one. And then the amethyst. They have, I think there's like 8 or 9, but obviously they're like, oh no, I dropped him. I'll have to get her later. Obviously they have more, but the more you get, the more likely you are to get doubles. So I tried to stay within reason. And then, so this kaiju I had gotten a while back, but this is the other unicorno that I got. I only got one, but look at this, how cute. It's like a little astronaut one with a little cherry on her butt. I just think these are so cute. And I'm sure that if I gave it to Evie, she would want to chew on it, which is probably not safe because these are probably painted and they're not meant really as toys, I think. But I do have my desk decorated, so I'll post a picture of kind of how I have them arranged on my desk, because just to show you the ones that I have here, this is from the most recent collab. So Hello Kitty has done 2 different collabs with Tokidoki. So the first, I should show you guys, I should find this picture. We'll get George to go look for it maybe. When we went to Vegas last time, so Andrew was probably about 3 years old and we went to Vegas for our anniversary. So this was 5 years ago. We stayed at the Bellagio, which was super, super nice. And they upgraded us for free to a room that had the fountain view. So if you've ever seen like movies or you've even been to Vegas before, the Bellagio is the hotel right on the strip that has that huge water fountain. So if you've ever seen Ocean's 11, like they stand in front of the fountain and you see the fountain doing a show. It does it like every hour or whatever. We stayed there and we got to stay right in front of the fountain, like way up in a high floor. They upgraded our room, which was so nice. And it was almost Christmas. And we just had the best time and the best view and it was amazing. But across the street from the Bellagio, there was like It's Sugar or some other kind of like sugar store, like a candy store. And when we were walking around, we saw that they had these Hello Kitty blind boxes, the Tokidoki Hello Kitty ones. And I had never seen them before. I didn't know. I loved, can you guys hear that thunder? I feel like this happens when we have our our little meetings here. We always get to hear this thunder. But I had seen Tokidoki before, and of course I knew Hello Kitty because she's the love of my life besides George and my kids. And I saw that they had these and I wanted one of each, but because you don't know what's in them, I was like, so I bought the whole box, which was like, I don't know, 30 of them, maybe. I don't know. I bought the whole box. It was like $200. So I guess it was probably 20 of the blind boxes because it was Vegas and we had won like $600 when we first got there in the slot machine stuff. So I was like, I'm buying it. It's Christmas. I'm getting them all. And I did. I think I got one of every single thing. And I still have those, but these are a little bit different. So this is a Hello Kitty Donatella on a throne. She sits on my desk. And then I don't always splurge $200 on Hello Kitty stuff, you guys, I promise, but it was a special time. It was our anniversary. And I guess it was probably our 5-year anniversary. So then I have this little Hello Kitty mermaid. So these little unicornos are called mermacorns and they're so cute. So cute. But I do have a picture of me with all these boxes. It was so much fun to open all those boxes in the hotel. And then I've got this one where she's kind of got crazy hair. I don't know if she has a name necessarily, but she's so cute. So I have all of those kind of sitting on my desk with me. And then one more is this one. She's kind of dressed up like one of the cactus girls. And I know Sandy is one of the cactus girls from Tokidoki, but I think she's green. So anyway, I just thought I would show you guys that since I got them. And I'm going to open this Gudetama one because I've been waiting all week to open it. So I'm going to open it and see what's inside. But they do have it like taped like crazy. I saw Jamila said her brother has like 500 different Funko Pops. I have seen people before too, like with like even bookstagrammers on Instagram that have their gorgeous shelves full of books will also have just shelves and shelves full of Funko Pops. And I just feel like you could easily get caught up in that. But then again, there's no judgment from me because obviously I get caught up in Hello Kitty stuff, just similar to this. Plus we were watching, have any of you guys seen, it's like they tape the middle of it, which is harder to open than the actual boxes. Have any of you guys seen the anime My Hero Academia? Let me know in the comments because my sister messaged me and was like, you've got to watch this show. It's really, really good. And we had just finished, it's not all of Bleach, but we were watching Bleach. You guys, I can't get it open. We were watching all of Bleach. Oh, maybe I'll use these little scissors. I have these little like embroidery scissors. Those might be easier to use. We were watching Bleach, and then whatever was on Bleach on Netflix was gone. And then they brought out like 2 more seasons. So we were watching that at night, kind of as our, I guess, our free time as a couple, like hanging out on the couch together. My whole house is Coca-Cola, Sonia says. My husband is a collector. Oh, that is so cool. Well, I grew up in Georgia, of course, which is the home of Coca-Cola. So, you have to go to the Coca-Cola Museum and all of that kind of stuff when you're growing up in Georgia. But my dad had a couple things that were Coca-Cola at home too. Kelly says, I haven't seen MHA, but Thomas Sanders talks about it all the time. Who is Thomas Sanders? I'm not sure who that is. I will admit I'm considering getting the Buffy Funko Pop of her dressed for the end of the first season. I do not have that one, but I do have the Buffy Funko Pop that's just her in, I think she might be wearing a skirt with the stake in her hand. But anyway, I finally got it open. So I want to see what's in it. I'm just like, please don't be the same one. That's the only thing I care about because it's the only one that I have. Let's see. Oh, it's a different one. Yay. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Look at this. It's like a little cactus egg. This is so funny, you guys. Oh my gosh. This is so, so cute. Let me grab, oh no, I can't. I don't think I can reach it. But anyway, this is super cute, little Gudetama. Some people are like, I hate the egg. That's stupid. But I don't know why. I have totally fallen in love with the egg. So I'm excited about my new Gudetama. I'm gonna keep them both on my desk. So here's what they look like together. And because it's egg, it's like they're transparent, this like clear transparent. It's so cute. But they always, of course, include like, yeah, he's always half asleep. They always include like a little thing that says, or that shows you the different ones. I really, really want this one. That's the unicorno. She has like a egg in her hair. It's really cute. But anyway, thank you for letting me open that and indulge myself. He's so, so cute. Yeah. So anyway, Thomas Sanders is the Vine guy. He's a YouTuber. He's super funny and sweet. His Sanders Sides videos are so good. Okay, I'm going to have to check him out. Very cool. Okay. I was never super into Vine, but I do have friends that were very into Vine. And I know a lot of people that did Vine, like Vines have kind of moved their stuff onto YouTube, a lot of it. All right, you guys, we have a full page of questions today also. So 2 of those questions are from last week. So I'm going to go ahead and answer those first. So Steph asked, if you could live a day as one of your characters, switch lives, they be you and you be them, who would you choose? P.S. You can take George as Jackson if you pick Harper, and they in turn would be some pretty cool and protective babysitters for Evie and Andrew. So she said she would be Leanne, which if you haven't read my Fairhope series, you can actually get the book The Trouble with Goodbye for free. This is one of my series that's actually a completed series. It doesn't have any paranormal, no witches, nothing like that. It's more of a small town sort of romance, new adult series. And Leanne is one of the more, I would say, like autobiographical characters. So I am honored that you said you would pick Leanne because she's very much like me, I would say, in some ways. But gosh, I mean, I think I would. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. If I had to be them and they had to be me, who would I pick? My first thought, of course, would be Harper in some ways, but I also think personally I might switch with Frankie. And for some reason, I super love Frankie. I mean, obviously, I love all of my characters, but I just really, really love Frankie. And I think that um, if I could be someone, I would be her because I like what she turns into. And I just think that would be cool. Marianne also, but it's like, I just love Frankie. So if you don't know who Frankie is and you're going, oh, I don't know which series she's from, Frankie is from my Sacrifice Me series. And she is also makes appearances in the Shadow Demon Saga, but not until book 7. Maybe you see her in book 7. I think so. But I think Frankie is my choice on that. But then it's like I'm also writing Parrish right now. I would definitely not want to be Carmen, and I wouldn't want Carmen watching my kids. But I do like Parrish too. So Parrish might be a good one. I mean, Harper obviously is the character I've written the most in my life. So I feel the most closest to her. And so, maybe she would be a first choice, but that's a really tough one. So Stephanie Luke Jones asked, this is kind of a heart-breathing question, but how did your planner evolve into what you use today? All the cute clips, charms, and inserts, like the ones in the front pocket, seem to go together so well, even if they aren't matchy. I get inspired and start sticking stuff in mine, but can't quite find the balance to make it cute and fun. What's funny about that, Stephanie, is I feel the same way. I feel like I've got, so if you guys, sorry. If you don't follow my Heart Breathings channel, I have a binder that I set up every single month. And some of you sent me links to help me get this binder. So thank you so much to everybody who helped me find this binder. It's like my dream one. But what she's talking about is this like inner inserts and things like that. Like, how do you get them all to match? And really, I think that over time I have collected, oh my gosh, so many just little things, just like Hello Kitty clips, Hello Kitty, like some of the paper clips I've made myself. Some of them are things that I find online that I just print out and laminate, but a lot of it's just like clips that I've found at places like Tuesday Morning. If any of you have a Tuesday Morning near you, you know what I'm talking about. But George and I were living close to a Tuesday Morning, and you go to a store like that, and it's kind of, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, it's like a discount store for overstocked items where they're sending them out to this store, kind of like an Ollie's or, Big Lots and stuff like that, where it's just stores couldn't sell them. So these stores buy them and they sell them at a discount. So sometimes when you go to Tuesday Morning, you can find a lot of stationery stuff, and it'll be like paper clips, packs of paper clips that are cute for like 50 cents. And so that kind of stuff, I feel like I have like collected a bunch of that junk. And George, I know, would like me I just saw his comment. George would like me to get rid of it. Here's his comment. The key is to have one of everything that there is. I love you, baby. Yes, the key is to have one of everything. I do not have one of everything, but I think that I get nervous when I share my planner stuff online because I think people have accused me. People are like, you must not spend any time with your kids because all you do is plan. It's like, I promise that's not all I do. And most of the stuff that I have is not stuff that I've just bought this year. I mean, like some of the clips that are in this planner that I just used I've had for more than 12 years. So it's just a matter of like holding on to stuff, or otherwise known as planner hoarding, I guess. And I just put them all together. And what I do, like for this one, is I have several drawers that are just full of this stuff that have like little boxes full of little clips and pieces of things, I don't know, like ephemera and different things like that. And I'll just pull it all out and make a huge mess in my office. And then I'll see like what looks good. And for this one, I'm going to grab it again. Hello. So for this one, it's pink, but it has this red heart on it. And so I really wanted to pull, oh, it looks good with my nails too. I really wanted to pull that red heart through. So I was like, what else do I have that's red? But the only thing here in this whole planner that is new is this one clip right here that says Sarah. And that I got from an Etsy shop called A Planned Design, because people were linking up shops that were like Black owned businesses and Etsy shops. And I wanted to support some of those shops. And I saw this where you can like choose your own colors for it. And it's a really sturdy kind of like chipboard, I guess. And I was like, oh, I really want that, because I could see that I would definitely use it probably every month in my planner. So I highly recommend her shop. I don't have the link right now, but if you search for A Planned Design Etsy, I'm sure you'll find her. But she has some really cute clips. So I think that you just collect things over time that are a variety of colors and then just play around with it and see. But I feel the same way that when I started seeing people on YouTube that were setting up their intros to their planners, the like first few pages and stuff, or that little section there with the pockets, I was like, I'll never be able to make it look that cute. But I think it's just a matter of like picking a few things, choosing a color scheme and saying, I'm going to pick all pink and red, and then making it work and playing around with it. But I never think mine looked that great either. But thank you for saying that. Ale says Sarah coins the best terms, planner hoarding and planner nesting. Yes, planner hoarding is super fun, as well as planner nesting. And I am going to be doing some more planner hoarding planning stuff. You can kind of see behind me here, this cart. So that white cart used to be, these are just like the utility carts from Michael's. And that one we were using for baby stuff. So we were using it for diapers and changing pad and all the little things that we needed when Evie was still in our bedroom. But now obviously we don't need that anymore. And it's still been up in our bedroom with like blankets and stuff from the breast pump and different stuff like that. And so I was like, ooh, I am going to reclaim this and I'm going to bring it down to my room, because I have like lots of things like Post-it notes and stuff that don't really have a home. So I'm excited to do that. So hopefully I'm going to set that up today. I'm excited. All right. So Lissy had many questions. I don't know if Lissy's here today. I'm not sure if I've seen her name, but hello to everybody watching on the replay. We value you. We're so glad that you're here watching the replay too. So she said, how did your passion start? Did it start when you were in school by reading and doing book reports, or did it start later in your life? So answering that question first. So I would say like obviously, I think it started the same way most writers get started, which is that you get passionate about reading. And my passion for reading started probably around like maybe second grade. I remember somebody had I guess, I don't remember if I got it from the library or if my mom brought it home for me, the book Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim, which later became The Secret of Nim, like a movie that they did on that. And I remember sitting there on a Saturday morning, there was nothing else to do. It was like 120 degrees outside. And it was like, what am I going to do today? Because I was like 8 years old and just bored out of my mind. And it was too hot to go outside. So I sat down with this book. It must have been something my mom brought home. And I had been someone who had read casually, but I fell in love with that book. It was like, oh my gosh, I was transported to another world where there were these rats. And like, I never would have wanted to read a book about rats. It's like, what? Who wants to read about rats? But they were personified and it was so amazing. And I just thought someday I want to be able to do that. And I journaled a lot and wrote really, really bad poetry. I wrote a short story in high school that went into a contest where the judges didn't know your name, but you got to go into a critique basically with a bunch of students, and they critiqued you out loud, but nobody knew who wrote which story. And they tore my story apart. They were like, this is obviously written by a dude. And I'm like, I was like over there. I was like, what are you saying? I am not a dude. But that story did get passed around my high school and people loved it. So, or at least they said they did. Who knows? But I did write a little bit, but for the most part, when I got started with, with writing, it was mostly through journaling and poetry and reading. And the passion was sparked through the reading. But when I was trying to decide what I wanted to major on in college, I was much more all about like performing and theater and singing. And so that's what I majored in college. I double majored in English, which was not creative writing. It was just like, boring English, and also in singing. And I went to graduate school as a singer, and I was not a writer at all. So like when she asks also, who was your muse for writing books when you started before you met George? But I did not start writing books before I met George. Stephen King and reading his books, Christopher Pike and reading his books, Dean Koontz, and a lot of horror writers. Those were kind of my jam for a really long time. I also loved reading things like Nora Roberts and Harlequin novels. And I read pretty widely. Like I tried to read a lot of the classics and different things like that. No, I just mean like, Kayla said, boring English. I mean, I prefer writing stuff. And I feel like in college for me, the English classes that I took at the intro to English stuff was all like, I was expecting it to be more like reading and let's discuss it. And instead it was like, let's read the Canterbury Tales. And I just feel like I didn't fit in with that kind of stuff. I did enjoy the Shakespeare, but I think that from where I was coming from, I was hoping for, I don't know, more. I think it's hard to explain, but I did not like English classes in college very much because I felt like other than a couple of classes that I really, really loved my teachers. So I loved my poetry class. I loved my women's fiction class, but there were a couple of like just the classic English stuff that was so boring to me. I did not enjoy reading a lot of those old books. And it was like, unless you had the exact same opinion as the professor, you were gonna get a bad grade and they hated you. And it was like, I've never been a fan of like regurgitating what other people say that I should do. So I did not enjoy English in college other than a handful of class. Probably my favorite English class in college was a Caribbean women's fiction class. And I was introduced to so many cool books by Black Caribbean women. And it was the coolest class I've ever taken besides my poetry class. So I loved those things, but like the intro to English classes for me were super boring. I loved high school English. I did not like college English for the most part. Probably has a lot to do with your professors, to be honest. But anyway, I did not have a muse for writing books when I started because George was still my muse, I guess, because I didn't start writing until we moved in together in 2006. So he was my muse from the beginning. She said, most people think of stuff to whether, I think maybe this got a little bit weird. So I was trying to think. I think she's saying like most people think of things from their childhood. Is there anything that you've published that came from childhood? And I would say not really. I think that my mind didn't really go to like, I think we're all inspired by things that we went through in our childhood. And obviously I've talked to you guys a lot about how Hawkinsville and my experiences there. But in terms of like songs or reading and things like that, quotes, I don't think any of my childhood stuff really influenced my writing other than Christopher Pike. And I've talked about him before and his books. And I know that some of you have been fans of his from, years and years ago as well. But I think Christopher Pike is definitely one of the biggest influences on my writing today because I loved those stories. They were simple, a lot of them, but they were like mysteries and they pulled you in. And I could read like Christopher Pike's Remember Me or The Last Vampire. I could read those books like 1,000 times and just absolutely enjoyed them. And I love that about it. So probably, in terms of not one book in particular, but as a writer, Christopher Pike was probably my greatest influence. Did you always keep a journal with you from childhood to present? So yes, I have pretty much always kept a journal. So my very first journal, I was like 5 years old, and it was nothing I could actually write in other than scribbles, was a Hello Kitty journal. And I still have that journal. And yes, I always was someone who had a journal with me for always. Let's see. So many questions from Lissy. Do you schedule time for every day, like time for your writing, your reading, spending time with Andrew, Evie, and George together, one-on-one and as a family, appointments, and just everyday things that need to get cleaned or done? So definitely, I do. And if any of you that have taken my HB 90 class, you know that I do actually, pretty much plan like an ideal weekly schedule. And I try my best to have kind of blocks of time. So, we have our routines. And right now in my life, I am having to definitely lean on my routines. I think anytime you have young children, routines are exactly the thing. And now that we've gotten Evie on a routine, our lives are changing because we have more time in the morning. We take a family walk. We do all that. So for me, it's the way that I get it all done is routine. And I try to either read or listen to audiobooks every single day. I try to meditate every day. I try to write every day. The writing is the hardest thing for me to get onto a routine. And there's a part of me that thinks maybe I need to just embrace the fact that I'm kind of more of a binge writer. But for me, it's just like asking me to sit down and write 3,000 words a day or 2,000 words a day. It's just hard. I would prefer just like thinking about the story and then taking 2 weeks and writing the whole thing in 2 weeks. So one of those kind of things. Oh, yay. Sara Lee said Christopher Pike and R.L. Stine started me out loving thrillers. So I knew we got along. Yes. And chain letter too. So let's see. I saw that George mentioned Hudson, so I was going to try to go up, but I don't see. Oh, there it is. Is it a bad idea for a teen to indie publish? So let's see. That's a really tough question. I think that the hardest part, I don't think it's a bad idea. And if you have books and you feel like you're ready to do it, it's a great idea to indie publish. However, there are hidden dangers, I think, to publishing anything, publishing your work out there, whether you're doing it on Wattpad or your blog or anything. And part of it is that, as an author and as a YouTuber and putting myself and my life out there on display is like I'm inviting attacks to a degree. And there are just a lot of people out there on the internet that feel like because you are putting your books out there or because you're putting your face out there, that they have a right to criticize you. So I think that the key thing to remember, especially as a teen, when you're really still like learning your voice and getting your art out there, and I know I personally was more sensitive as a teen because I had less experience of getting hurt, if that makes sense. But it really depends on the individual teenager. So if you feel like you can handle it when people say, oh, this sucks and you shouldn't be writing, then go for it and just forget the haters and listen to the people that love it and listen to your heart and go for it. But I think if it was like my son wanted to publish, that would be my biggest fear for him is like, can you handle the criticism? Because that's probably the hardest part of publishing is the fact that you're going to get emails from people, you're going to get, reviews and comments from people that are going to be really, really tough. And so just consider the fact that publishing and going for your dreams is amazing, and you should always go for your dreams and do what you want to do and follow your heart and put your art out there and everything. But just be aware that there are a lot of people that will say things online that are harsh, and just because they're saying it does not mean that it's true. And so you have to kind of try your best to separate yourself. And even as a 43-year-old woman who has been through some hell, I still find it very difficult to handle negative emails and negative reviews. And so my advice to you, if you decide that you want to go ahead and publish, is to find support either with parents or with a friend or with a critique partner or a group that you can talk to when you get down or when you get a bad review, but also don't read your reviews. So if I was advising a teen, I would say, do not read your reviews. Don't read Goodreads, because Goodreads people, I mean, we're all Goodreads people, but in general, Goodreads tends to have people who review your books more harshly, and sometimes trying to use words that are not offensive. Sometimes people will attack you personally as an author, I guess is the way to say it. So sometimes on Goodreads, people will attack you as an author rather than just criticizing your work. And that gets really, really hard. So I think that, like DF Tech Writer said, right now, what's the best way to navigate the haters? And I think this is a really tough thing, because some way to go ahead and talk about, I guess, protecting yourself and things like that. One thing that you could do is just not read anything. So if you don't look at your reviews, you don't look at Goodreads, you just publish your work and just enjoy, that is great. But the thing is, you don't get the good stuff either unless you have someone else passing things through. So something that George has been doing for me lately is to say he's going to check my emails for me, because a bad email or a negative email can really send me on a spiral. And you would be amazed at what people want to tell you in your inbox. Sometimes they're just like, did you have any idea of this and this? And it's like, that's so mean. I think they just don't see that you're a real person. So the key, I think, with that is, like, if you have someone that can pass things through to you and delete the other things, you'll be better off with your mental health. Because if he sees something that's really nasty that really doesn't need to be passed on to me, it'll be like it never happened, right? And I just never have to know it even existed. And that works out great for me. So that's probably my biggest advice to a teen who wants to publish, is make sure that you have a gatekeeper in your life that can only pass through the good news. But you also have to be someone who is mentally strong enough not to go and look at the reviews or your emails on your own without the gatekeeper. So yeah, just think about that, because I think that as writers, most of us are more sensitive anyway to things going on in the world, or more empathetic because we're obviously writing, other people's lives, and we have characters in our head, and just not everybody, but a lot of us are more sensitive anyway, and are more prone to depression and anxiety. And I know that I am. And so I think we have to guard our mental health. And when you have a publisher, oh, this could be a long conversation. I'm just going to have to leave it there because we've got so many questions, but I'll just leave it there and say that find a gatekeeper for you who can pass through those things if need be. We'll just leave it there. All right. Nilda said, how do you manage it all? A similar type of question. How do you manage it all? How do you divide time for your businesses, plus housework, fun stuff, and family time? Sometimes I do better than others. So if you go to my YouTube channel for Heart Breathings, you'll see kind of how I manage it all. I have a Kanban board back here. I'm very particular about scheduling every single 90 days what I'm going to do versus what I'm not going to do. And that's the only way I've managed to really get anything done, because for a very long time, I was so overwhelmed with how much stuff I had to do that I was just never getting anything done at all. It was like, it just felt so overwhelming that I couldn't even pick a task up and say, I'm going to get this done. Or I would do a bunch of tasks, but it never really added up to anything. So I finally said, okay, I'm going to pick 3 goals a quarter and I'm going to decide exactly what I'm doing. And then I just try to, like I said, rely on routines. So I know exactly what I'm trying to get done. And then I rely on those blocks of time. So right now, my biggest block is like 9 to noon-ish or 9 to 11:30. I have a block of time. And then every day from about 1 to Well, I've been putting Evie down for her afternoon nap. So 1 to 2, I have a block of time. And then maybe like 2:30 to 4:30, I have a block of time. And then sometimes in the evening. And everything that I do has to get done in that block of time, or else it's family time. And I just kind of have found that having that type of routine is what works for me. Okay, so Mimi says, did Sarah attend the second EC town hall meeting? What did she think of their progress so far? So I did not attend the second CEO, the town hall, because I did register for it, but I didn't have time to go. And like I said, we rely heavily on routine. So when things like that come up, they did the town hall at night, and I was still putting Evie down. And so I just couldn't get to it. I think they sent us the replay, but I haven't had a chance to watch it. And in a way, I feel like a lot of the things with Erin Condren and just what was going on in the planner community, I kind of needed to step back and step away for a few days or a week or so, because it was just starting to get too stressful, and I could feel it acting on my nervous system. I could feel it in my energy. And so it was like, okay, I have the right to step away from this and to just regroup. So I haven't really done that. I did read the CEO's update on the blog, and I think it's very positive. I mean, they're making actual changes, which I think is all we can ask. Like, nobody's perfect. And if we live in a society where we expect people to be perfect all the time, we're just going to continue to be disappointed. And I think personally, I think the best we can ask of anyone is, if you make a mistake, own it, learn from it, and change. And I think that even though it wasn't the company's mistake, it was a person's mistake or choice, I think the company is responding well. So I'll just leave it at that I am excited to see that they are actually making changes. So Planning Inspired said the second EC town hall was better than the first one. I think if you can only watch one, watch the second one. Okay, thank you so much for that. I definitely need to make time to do it. I definitely liked the CEO's update that they're actually making some changes. They've even already immediately changed some of the holidays in their planner and different things like that. They're reaching out to affiliates, and I just think they're doing what they can. And I think as long as we continue to see change and progress, then, I'm going to continue to support the company. I don't know. It's hard. And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. There's a lot to say about that, but I'm glad to see changes happening. Hudson also asked, do you use KDP and or ingramspark and or draft to digital? And did you change this with your books over time? So I use KDP, but I do not use, so for those of you that aren't authors, KDP is Kindle Direct Publishing, and that's kind of the back end of how we get our books onto Amazon. And I use KDP, but I do not ever use Kindle Unlimited, which is KDP Select, where you have to be exclusive to Amazon. And I don't tend to use the draft to digital too much. So draft to digital I use to get my books for free on Barnes and Noble, and I love draft to digital. I highly recommend using them if you don't want to go direct, but I personally go direct to each of the vendors. So I'm direct at Google, direct at Apple, direct at Kobo, which means that I just upload my books there directly instead of going through a third party like draft to digital. So I also have never used ingramspark, but I probably will be using them coming up for some of my paperbacks because you can get better distribution. But I personally have found it better to go direct because I don't need the ease of something like draft to digital, and I don't want anybody else taking any of my royalties. I want to make as much money per book as I can. And it didn't necessarily change over time exactly, except that the vendors opened up. So when I first started, the only two vendors that were available were KDP, Amazon, and Barnes and Noble. Back then they were called Pubit. So those were the only two I started on, as well as Smashwords. And then eventually you could use Smashwords to get to iTunes. Then iTunes opened up and became iBooks, and now they're Apple Books. So it has progressed over time, but only because the vendors opened up. So when Google Play Books opened up for indies, I was one of the first people to get on, and that sort of thing. Same thing with Kobo. They weren't available when I first started. Yes, I have been hearing that ingramspark is having some issues too, which makes me like, I don't know. But ingramspark, you can do hardcovers. You can also do hardcovers through Barnes and Noble Press. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to use ingramspark at all. Maybe, maybe not. I've heard the same thing, Evelyn, that they're having trouble. So those of you that don't know, ingramspark is another publisher that they do ebooks too, but I don't think it's a smart move to do ebooks through ingramspark. That's just a personal opinion. But they do distribute paperbacks to like Barnes and Noble and other bookstores. And if you want to get into like your local bookstores, so say you have a local indie bookstore that's not a Barnes and Noble, it's just a locally run store, then you need to be in something like ingramspark, because those indie bookstores are not going to buy paperbacks from Amazon or Barnes and Noble. They want to get them from ingramspark. So definitely, make sure that you're going through ingramspark or another place like that if you want to get into like local bookstores in your town and stuff like that. LA said, will you go over how to do all the direct stuff in your Publish and Thrive course? So I have a course that's starting up again, coming up in the next month, which is called Publish and Thrive. And it's a 5-week course. And we go over all of the direct stuff. And I actually do walkthroughs, like video walkthroughs of all of the vendors. So you can see the process and how it works. Okay. Ale says, how did you decide to make a planner for authors? Like, what took you in that direction? So, oh my gosh, I have been using planners forever. And actually years and years ago, even when George and I first got together, an Amazon Prime van just pulled up in front of my house. I'm like, what did I order? I can't remember. So back when George and I first got together, the only planners that I could get were like very masculine planners or like student planners. And nothing had really the aesthetic that I wanted. And I was so disappointed pretty much always, because it was like businessman planners. You go to Staples and it's like a black planner with nothing good in it. And I just was like, I want something that's pretty, but not like, they also would have like Bible planners or something like that. Or some of the Franklin Covey systems were okay, but it would be like things that were either like had Bible verses on them, or it was like something that seemed to be made for a man. And I was like, okay, I want something that has like the aesthetic that I want. So obviously when I first discovered things like Kiki K and Erin Condren and some of the other planners that I use now, I was thrilled and I started using those. But I started to realize that I was jumping around from planner to planner, and I kept thinking like, oh, let me buy this. Like I bought the, what's it called? Cultivate What Matters Power Sheets. So Power Sheets it's like a 90-day quarterly planner or whatever. And I bought that. But what I was doing is I was basically watching other people like YouTubers and stuff. And I, I wanted to like go ahead and buy them, but I had no idea how I was going to use them. And I was like, okay, so what do I do here? I've just spent $60 on a planner, but does it really support my process? And so I found I was just spending a ridiculous amount of money on planners that weren't as functional for me as I wanted them to be. So what I did was I started writing down a list of like, how do I, like, let me forget all of the planner stuff and instead let me figure out what I need in a planner. So I just like got rid of everything that I had. Like I didn't get rid of it, but I just pushed it all to the side and took a day that I was like, let me figure out what would be my ideal, what I think would really support me, rather than what planner do I want to use and then fitting the planner into my life. I thought, let me decide what my life needs and then try to make a planner or figure out what planner would work for me. I hope that makes sense. So I was like, you know what I really want to do is I want to write out all my tasks that I want to do for the week first and figure out how much writing I want to get done first. Then I want to schedule it out on an ideal week. Like, how will I get all those tasks done? So it was like a 3-step process for me. First, I wanted to figure out what tasks I was going to do this week. Second, I wanted to figure out when I was going to do those tasks on a weekly overview. And third, I wanted a daily page so that I could plan each day as it comes. So I knew that this is what I wanted. And so then I started asking people what planner has notes pages a daily page and a weekly page with a monthly layout. And the only thing that anyone could tell me that had all of those different things was a Hobonichi planner. So I started using a Hobonichi, but what I didn't like about that is it's bound, so you can't add pages to it and all of that. So that's when I kind of ended up back in a 6-ring binder, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to design my own pages in Word. And as I started posting photos of the planner that I designed for myself, I wasn't even thinking I was going to sell it. Even though that was on my long-term dream list for someday maybe I'll have my own planner company or something like that. I was like just making it for myself to be functional. And so many people were like, oh, what planner are you using? I love that layout. And then it suddenly was like, well, maybe I could design my own. And then when I started doing some YouTube videos on my Kanban board and stuff, people were interested in that too. And that naturally evolved into, well, I'm going to do this course, a 90-day course. And so for the course, I designed the planner. So hopefully that's like not too long of a story, but it was when I decided to do the course, I was like, oh, well, I could use these planner pages that I have been using for myself, but like teach myself how to use InDesign so I could design it a little bit more professionally. So that's what I did. I used YouTube videos and taught myself how to create a planner inside InDesign, which was much better and easier than Word once you learned it. And then I offered it for free as a part of the course. And then people loved it so much, I was like, well, I'll put it on sale on Etsy. And it's been awesome. I love it. Jennifer says, I decorate my HB90 planner pages during the coffee chats. I love that. I think we would all have a Sarah Cannon planner company, a planner nesting line. Oh my gosh, that is really cool. I like it. I would totally go for it. I really want to offer, because I know a lot of people right now, my planner is only printable. Like you get a file PDF and then you have to print it yourself. So I know a lot of people would like a printed one, but going from a digital file to a printed product that you have to like ship out to people is a really overwhelming for me. And the thought of it is like, I'm not sure. I want to do it, but I'm just not sure. How do you choose the titles for your books and your character names? So we've talked about character names before, so I'm not going to cover that. I think that was in last week's coffee chat. We talked about that, but titles for my books. So, you know, I think they sort of tend to come organically to some degree. And then once I have the title for the first book, I'm like, okay, now I want something that feels branded to the series that makes it easy when you see it at a bookstore that you can go, oh, that's part of that series. And so we can talk more about the title for Beautiful Demons, but obviously Beautiful Demons is the demons cheerleaders, and that's where it comes from. And so obviously you'll see more as the story progresses to the end, but that's where the title came from. And I just loved that idea of beautiful with the word demon. And Melissa Marr had a series called Wicked Lovely. The first book in the series was called Wicked Lovely. And I loved that book, but I also loved the title because it was like wicked and lovely are like two things that don't seem to go together. And so I was like, oh, when the title Beautiful Demons came to me, I got chills and I was like, yes, that's that type of title that I like. So I'm going to use that. So then when I started working on book 2, I decided to continue using the word demons and it just became a pattern. So for me, that's kind of where that one came from. And The Witch's Key, I actually was going through a bunch of different potential titles and then asked you guys in the coven, and you guys liked The Witch's Key best. And so I used that one. Deep Dark Secrets, I think I had just read the book Big Little Lies, which of course later became an HBO thing as well. And I also, so I guess that's a pattern that I've got in my life too, is like I see books that other people have done and I like the pattern of the title. So Big Little Lies. And I just liked that idea of big and little with a noun at the end. And I was like, ooh, Deep Dark Secrets, that would be a cool title. So I think I just draw inspiration from other people's books to a degree. The Trouble with Goodbye, that title came from a Taylor Swift song that I know you were trouble when you walked in. When I was listening to that song one day in the car, I had the idea for this book and I thought, oh my gosh, The Trouble with Goodbye. It just came to me immediately. So sometimes inspiration from other people, sometimes songs and different things like that. So yeah, I do like that. So like Elizabeth said, oxymorons, like I just like those things that are like contradictory, like oxymorons. Like, can something be wicked and lovely at the same time? I don't know. Can it? You know, so it's just kind of fun. So you'll see that probably many times. Okay, so we actually have 2 questions about money this week, which I thought was kind of interesting, something in the water. Brandy said, how do you keep track of your income and budget? Not asking for details, just curious if you use a planner or software online or something else. So I actually, you know, with the Erin Condren stuff, people are like, oh yeah, you know, just cancel Erin Condren. I'm like, you guys do not understand how much of my planner life is Erin Condren. Like all of my systems are an Erin Condren planner. So it's been very stressful for me. But I have a big Erin Condren Deluxe monthly planner that is our family budget planner. And I try to keep our notes and stuff in that. So I have an Erin Condren planner where I write that stuff down and try to keep track of, you know, what we're paying on and what bills we have and how much income I've made on paper. But this is definitely one place where I rely more on spreadsheets. So this is something we cover in my Publish and Thrive class as well. I actually even give you the like spreadsheets that I use for my taxes in the Publish and Thrive course. I give you copies of those, not obviously with my numbers in them, but, and so on. And a lot of this stuff about, like all the financials and how I do bookkeeping and how I track my income. So I have spreadsheets for this stuff. So I have a spreadsheet that has a rolling 12-month income. So like right now I could go and look at that and I could see what I've made over the last 12 months. So it doesn't just cover like the year of 2020, it covers the whole previous year. So I can kind of see and compare where I am now compared to last year and that sort of thing. But I just basically track almost everything in spreadsheets. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, it is part of my Publish and Thrive course is that you get free access to all those spreadsheets that I created for myself. Cynthia McCracken asked, how hard was it to figure out how to do the bookkeeping as an indie? How do you educate yourself on it? And was it expensive or difficult? With so many revenue streams and this and that, bookkeeping is almost an alien idea to many of us, but it is central and important to going indie. So one of the first things that I did was I hired an accountant. So this is not a bookkeeper, but I hired an accountant because I knew that I was not going to be able to do all of this myself. And it was not as expensive as you think it would be. It was like maybe, I don't remember, like talking with him was maybe like $200 maybe, which I know is still a lot of money. And it was definitely a ton of money to us at the time, but it was so worth it to have him set up my LLC, to have him set up my business and tell me, you know, advise me on what I needed to do. So we do talk about this in Publish and Thrive, but at the same time, it's just kind of, you know, something that you learn over time. And yeah, you have to keep track of it, but I just recommend talking to an accountant. Even if you don't hire a bookkeeper, talking to an accountant who can help you figure out the best way to keep your books is super important. So for me, I didn't really need to take too much time to educate myself because I knew I had that person kind of on my team. But it's just something you learn and you gradually add to over time. So, you know, as long as you're tracking how much money is coming in and how much money is going out, you're going to be okay. Yeah, so Shannon said, I read the company isn't working with Erin Condren, not at all condoning what happened, but the company seems to be separate from her unless I'm mistaken. So she is not actually a managing partner even. A lot of people think that she's like the main owner of Erin Condren, but she actually sold the business years back. And so she's more of like the face of the company, and she doesn't even have like a managing share in the company, and she doesn't really have a say on a lot of stuff. But because the product has her name on it, a lot of people are just saying the whole company should be held responsible. And I respect all opinions on this. And I definitely don't want to get into an argument about it because I do understand where people are coming from, that they're like, I don't want to support this company anymore. But at the same time, I'm kind of torn by it because it's like I don't want to punish the entire company for the actions of someone and their child when there's a lot of people that work for Erin Condren that have nothing to do with her. So it's just it's a tough thing. And I feel like no matter what you say, somebody's going to disagree and be upset. So I just want to respect everybody's feelings on it. But yes, it is true that she does not really have much in terms of control over the company. And she has now taken a leave of absence, but who knows what that's going to mean exactly in the long run. Last question. Pamela said, I'm super excited about your plotting series. I know you already have several Facebook groups dedicated to helping writers write, but would you ever consider starting a private group for people trying to work out plots or ideas? It seems like it would feel like a safe place for your students to brainstorm and support each other through the process of working out plot problems. I think that that's actually a really cool idea. And I was thinking for a while about starting some kind of author mastermind that would be a smaller group of people that could talk through not only ideas for large plots, like for large series plots, but also like marketing ideas and different things like that. But I think for it to work, you would have to keep the group small, and maybe even genre specific, where it's like everybody writing this is writing romance, or everybody in this group is writing. So maybe like a cluster of masterminds, like a romance mastermind over here, a mystery thriller mastermind over here. I think that would be super, super cool. But I definitely would not be able to run all of those groups myself. So if we did them as free Facebook groups, then I would need moderators for each group. And if we did them as something that was like a paid mastermind to be a part of, then I would probably have to hire someone to help with that kind of thing, because that I am so like, I get a lot done, but I'm at my limit. I am at my limit. So I know that Jolie asked, I did see it, about marketing books. So I can't find the question, but Jolie asked, what are your favorite marketing books? So, whoops, wrong way. You want to come see mommy? You guys get to see Andrew today too. He won his first belt in karate today, right?
No, not my first.
Your second belt?
Yeah.
It's a yellow belt, yellow and black.
Yellow belt with a black stripe in the middle.
So Andrew just earned his yellow belt with a black stripe, whatever that means in karate. We're super, super proud of him though. You want to come be in the video?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I know why it has the black thing.
Why?
The teacher told me that it was because you know like a little bit of what you need to know for being black belt. So
well, that's cool. So
black stripe there.
So you've learned enough to be like on the path to being a black belt.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty sweet, Andrew. Congratulations. We're pretty proud of you. Next week he has camp at his school. I did see that there was a question. I saw it just briefly about how are schools handling things. Like our school, Andrew's in a school here locally that has pretty low student numbers, and they are, she's going to grab this. She's trying to grab the Gudetama. I told you she would want to chew on that. He only had 10 people in your class? 12?
Yeah, 12.
12 people in his class. So they have really small student numbers anyway. And they're planning to open campus, but with restrictions like masks, the kids would wear masks and different things like that. So I don't know. We're just going to kind of wait and see. He's still going to go to camp next week, and they're going to be wearing masks. They've got precautions in place. It seemed to go well with karate camp this week. I think we're just kind of tentatively trusting that they're going to do what they need to do, but we're going to have a conversation with them on Monday morning, making sure that they're going to stay safe. But yeah, he already goes to kind of a small school. So I think it's tough. So yeah, 30 to 35 in a class. That's when I was a teacher, that's what we had too, was about 30 people in a class. And I taught elementary school music. So sometimes I would have 2 classes in it at a time. So I'd have like 45 to 50 kids at once. And it's just so many kids. And I don't know how schools are going to keep the kids apart with that many. So I don't know. I think every parent's just going to have to make the decision that feels right to them. I know. And she's teething still. So she's got all of this redness on her cheeks. The poor little girl. No, I didn't answer the marketing question. So marketing books. I have not read a bunch of books on marketing. I have read a lot of self-help kind of books. Like right now I'm reading Marie Forleo's Everything is Figureoutable. But I really have not read a lot of marketing books about books, because I started before people were marketing their books, because I've been self-publishing since 2010. So anything that's all about indie publishing. But I will say this. So there are a couple that I think you should check out. One is David Gaughran's book, Strangers to Superfans. So he is really one of the best voices out there. Now, he personally has a lot of his books in Kindle Unlimited, which I don't think is the right choice for everybody, but his books are good for even if you're wide. So I would highly recommend one of the first books you pick up is David Gaughran's Strangers to Superfans, because it walks you through basically how to turn readers into superfans and all of the back end things like your newsletter and different things that you need to have in place, like targeting the right readers. And that stuff is super, super important. Now, it's not going to talk to you about writing the books. It's just going to talk to you about how to market the books. Another one that I love is, oh my gosh, now I'm going to blank on it, is Read, Write, Repeat. Is that the right book? Somebody help me out here. It's by the self-publishing podcast guys back when they used to have their podcast. I think it's called Read, Write, Repeat. That is another really good one. I can post a list of these in, Jolie, are you in the coven with us? I can post a link to some of those things. I'm going to let George take her because she's not happy sitting on my lap. You say bye-bye, or you guys can stand there. If you guys stand here, then I'm less likely to go more overtime because we're already 10 minutes over an hour. We need to go eat. But I think that I'll post some things in the coven about it because I have probably maybe 3 or 4 books that I definitely would write, publish, repeat. Thank you. Yes. So it's write, publish, repeat. And it's really one of the best ones. Oh, so Jolie's not on Facebook. So go look up David Gaughran's blog. Any of his books are really good. Joanna Penn's books are also really good, and she has a lot. And then, like Jennifer just said, the book is called Write, Publish, Repeat. And this is written by a group of guys, and their advice on it is really, really good. And they basically talk about how to just continue to get better and better every time you publish. So it's an iterative process where you're going to try something and get better and get better. So Jolie, those are my 2 biggest ones are David Gaughran's Strangers to Superfans and Write, Publish, Repeat. And I forget the name of those guys, Sean something and some other people. But yeah, those are good. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out with me and looking at my blind box and all of that sort of thing. This was super, super fun. I love you guys. Happy birthday to Ashley. Was it? Oh no, now I forgot. Ashley. No, I forgot. There were like 4 birthdays. I'm like trying to remember all of them. But anyway, if it's your birthday, we love you guys. Happy birthday to you. And I saw there were even a few family members this weekend too. You guys, I love y'all. Next week is the end of Beautiful Demons. We will be reading on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I cannot wait to see what you guys think of this story for those of you that have not, had any stuff, that haven't seen this book before, haven't read this book before. So Tomi Ayemi, she said, has some stuff on her site, but she's traditionally published. So I don't know how much her stuff will relate to people who are Adeyemi. I don't know how you say her last name. But she's all trad pub. So I don't know that she would have anything about marketing on her website that would apply to indies. But if you, Publish and Thrive, I have lists of this, but yeah, I'll have to see if I can put together a list for you guys on heart breathings for some good marketing books. But anyway, you guys yay, Ashley's birthday. I forget who else though. I think there was somebody else, but all right, you guys, we love you so much. Thank you for being here. Make sure that you hit the thumbs up button on your way out, and I will go ahead pretty soon and schedule our broadcast for Monday's episode 9, and I will see you there. All right. Bye.
Bye.